God bless you. Amen. Our time is fast spent. I'm going to try as much as possible to move quick. I want to thank the Almighty God for another great opportunity to share the Word of God with the people of God. That is a great privilege and not in any way overlooking that wonderful privilege. I want to thank the Almighty God for the church. That is you and you and you. Can you join me together for Jesus? That the Lord has not planted you in the clubhouse, but He has planted you in the sanctuary. Can you join me together for Jesus? That the enemy has not planted you in the cemetery, but He put you in the sanctuary. Can you join me together for Jesus? I pray in the name that is above all names, that the enemy will not pluck you out from his house in the mighty name of Jesus.
Amen.
Because of my time, I'm just going to go straight into what we have for today. By the grace of God, this month is the month of what? And the year is the month of what?
Abundantly.
I pray in this month you will increase abundantly in the grace of the Almighty God in Jesus' name.
Amen.
And if you can remember vividly, sometimes ago when I was here, I said to us that as God will be helping us, I'll be dealing with 7 keys. If you can remember vividly, 7 keys that will help us to access abundant increase. And I started with number 1. If anybody can remember? The power of vision. Amen. The power of vision. As far as your eyes can see. As far as your eyes can see, they can guarantee your possession in this month of abundant increase. And then the second one we spoke about what? The power, the power of inputs and outputs. The power of inputs and outputs. And by God's grace, we look at several things under that. But I've not been given a leading to go forward past the power of inputs and outputs. The Almighty God laid in my heart to still discuss with you guys, under a subtopic that we spoke about then, which was spiritual inputs and outputs. And I'm going to be going further on that. Spiritual inputs and outputs part 2. Spiritual inputs and outputs part 2. And our subtopic for today will be the power of a praying Christian. The power of a praying Christian. Can I echo that?
The power of a praying Christian.
The power of a praying Christian. And our text for those that were not here was taken from the book of Luke chapter 18 from verses 1 to 9. Luke chapter 18 from verses 1 to 9. By God's grace, I just have 2 major aims today within my time. Number 1, I will look at what prayer really is. That's my number 1 aim. We'll look at what prayer really is. And my number 2 aim here today, has got to be helping me, is how to pray effectively and get results. How to pray effectively and what? And get results. But before I go further, I want to share this experience with you guys that happened to me just last week Wednesday. I and some friends, we went out on a little, we call it an outreach. We went to Sadler's community to speak to some students, some young children. As God has commanded us that we should go out there and preach the gospel. So we went out to go and see these guys. But before then, we had actually gone to that school before to speak to them. It was a beautiful time. I don't know how many of us have been to where they do assembly for young children in secondary school, and then now talk to them about God. I don't know if you ever experienced it before, where someone will just be laughing over there, someone will be playing over there, and then of course you're not a kitchen, so your accent, you're like, what you say? All that. It could be discouraging. And when they told us a day that we were going to be going, and this time we'll be divided into fragments, I knew for sure I would be speaking to these children. At least the first time, I knew I was not going to speak. So I could just come and just encourage the person that is speaking. Don't worry, it's normal. This thing happened. But this time around, I knew I was going to speak. And I don't want that kind of situation to happen. Where I'm saying, what else you say? And then they're laughing and all that. I really wanted to pass the message across. I really wanted lives to be touched. And what did I do? Very simple. I went on my knees. After I had section of prayer with some friends that night, midnight, the night before that day, And I prayed and I talked to the Almighty God. The Bible says the heart of a man is what? Is in the hands of the Lord, and he directed it the way he pleased. Just like the way he moves, because of a stream or a river. And I prayed. And lo and behold, we got there the next day. We spoke to them. I think we had just 15 minutes to speak to them. May I announce to you that the response, personally for my own class, that we got that day, it was amazing. When I asked them questions, even though some of them asked some relevant questions, some still asked questions, making me to understand that what I said, it was recepted or it was received in their heart. And I gave God the praise. But while I was preparing for this sermon, the Almighty God reminded me of that. And said, if you guys had not set the face of God in the place of prayer, you guys wouldn't have gotten that result. Prayer is key in the life of every believer. The power of the early church was as a result of habitual lifestyle of prayer. In the book of Acts chapter 1 verses 14. Acts chapter 1 verses 14. The Bible made us to understand that after Jesus Christ left this earth, the first thing that the apostles and every other church member did was to gather together in one accord in the place of prayer. They did not gather together to go and organize picnic and be celebrating the departure of Jesus Christ. They did not gather together and do farewell service. Somebody should go for jollof rice, this and that, for us to celebrate the departure of Jesus Christ. The Bible said these men and women gathered continually in a place praying. The effect of those prayers that you see there, where they gather together, you could see it severally in the scriptures. Even immediately after Jesus Christ left, in the book of Acts chapter 3 verses 1 to 8, Acts 3 verses 1 to 8, the Bible said Peter and John, they were at the beautiful gates. They saw a man that was lame, and they spoke to the man, rise up and walk. Little did they know that those little things they were doing was bringing influence on their society and their immediate environment. You see, as a believer, what will guarantee your influence both spiritually, what will guarantee your influence both physically, comes from you sitting down in the secret place of prayer. And funny enough, in this our generation, the place of prayer has been watered down so much that when they call for praise night, the church will be filled up. When they call for prayer meetings, probably the pastor, his wife, ministers, and one worker. Why? Because the devil has made us to see prayer as a burden. And the singular reason he has done that is because he knows it's a weapon of warfare that will put you above. Acts chapter 6 verses 4. Acts chapter 6 verses 4. The apostles said to the people, said, but we will give ourselves continually to what? So we will give ourselves continually to prayer. We cannot leave this thing that the Almighty God has laid in our hands and be running after tables. You want to sustain your influence as a child of God. Jesus Christ was on earth and he was saying to us, he said, you are the salt of the earth and the light of the world. Sir, a man that can't pray cannot sustain that which the Lord has said about him. Of you being the salt of the earth and the light of this world. He said, we will continue, we will give ourselves continually to prayer. Unstop. It is in my generation that I discovered that believers, including myself sometimes, we can go a week without having to sit down in the place of prayer. And then you will come out, issues are happening, then you will just feel like you just speak and to happen. No, it doesn't work that way. There must have been adequate time of sitting down in a secret place for you to come out there and have influence on whatsoever thing that is going on, either spiritually or physically. We saw some men in the scriptures, before I really go deep into what prayer is and other things, we saw some men in the scriptures that had influence in their society because they were men of prayer. They were influential because they were men of prayer. Daniel chapter 2 from verse 1 to 49. Daniel 2 from verses 1 to 49. The Bible said there was a problem, there was a political problem. The king had an issue, he had a dream, and it really disturbed him. And nobody could interpret it. All the politicians, everybody came, nobody. Of course, they can't get solution because the solution is with God. And you can only access God through prayers. And these men, after they did everything they could, their books, they brought everything out, they checked everything. They could not get the solution to the problem of the king. And the king said, please go and kill them, since they are useless. But the Bible said when Daniel heard about it, he told the man, can you guys give me just one day? Let me go back to the place of prayer. The scripture said he went back to the place of prayer, him and his friends, and he came back and delivered what the issue was to the king. And as from that point henceforth, the Bible said the king set him. You can check that in verse 48, before the second to that verse. Daniel chapter 2 verse 48. The Bible says he set him as what? And Daniel, can we go to verse 48? And then the king made Daniel a great man, and gave him many great gifts, and made him ruler over the province of Babylon, because he was a man of prayer. Men of prayer confer solution, and hence they become important in the society. You cannot access, see, the problem that is going on in Nigeria right now, I know majority of us are from Nigeria, the problem that is going on in Nigeria right now, any man that wants to solve it have to access God in the place of prayer. It makes you influential. I remember some months back, I was opportunity to be the student government president for Windsor University. And funny enough, I knew how they do this thing. Number one, you have to at least have very nice results, probably all A's. Probably lecturers have to actually know you, and all that. Funny enough, I personally don't have a desire to actually go into the position, because in church there's a lot to do, in fellowship there's a lot to do. Personally, I have my things I'm running, so SGA is the least of my concern. And in that class, when we got to, there was a particular guy, he was the vice president, no, he was not vice president, it was our class rep. I was just one of the normal students in class. And we got to MD3, that's why they choose who's going to be the vice president and all that. And the guys came and they said, well, he has never been a class rep before, so he can't be the vice president and all that. Everybody dragged me with you. But everybody in class kept saying, they want this guy. The SG people came in, they asked them, who do you want? And lo and behold, they put us there. We got to MD4, the same thing, they said, well, anybody could contest if you have been probably a class rep before. And I was like, can you please guys give it to this guy, let him be the president? There's no big deal, we'll be supporting him. They said no. I knew it was not just because of the fact that probably I was good in class. There was an influence occurring, touching the life of those guys to say this guy must be our president. Men get influence in the place of prayer. Acts chapter 19 from verse 13 to 15. Acts chapter 19 from verse 13 to 15. We could see the story of some boys. They had no influence spiritually, but yet they wanted to be demonstrating power. That made us to understand that the devil decided to embarrass them. And he said to them, Jesus I know. Paul I know. Who are you? Jesus Christ, the fact that he was God incarnate did not mean that he automatically got that influence. Because the scripture made us to understand that he grew, and the child grew and was strong in spirit. Nobody was strong in spirit without praying. I've read before where Paul said, I pray in tongues more than ye all. Paul also was a man of prayer. Hence he had an influence in the spirit realm. Even demons could testify to it. So can demons testify on your behalf that you I know? I had a friend some time ago. I think I shared that testimony before. I was in 300 level. I went to have, it was my IT period. And I had this family friend that I've known before I even gave my life to Christ. Well, personally, I never knew she was demon possessed. And we were talking that they were gisting. I've not actually ministered Christ to her. So she made a very nice hair. And I touched the tip of it, I was like, wow, this is beautiful. And she screamed out. I said, never touch my hair again. I said, what's the problem? So later on, she was telling me after she gave her life to Christ, that the day I touched her hair, it felt like fire was going on in her brains. Nobody gets that from sitting down in front of TV from morning to night. Nobody gets that from having to sit down on Facebook for 6 hours. They get it from sitting down in the place of prayer. By God's grace, we are still the ones that spoke to her about Christ and she gave her life to Christ. By God's, she's doing very well in Christ today. Men of influence and men of prayer. You can see it also in Matthew chapter 18, verses 18 to 20. Matthew 18, verse 18 to 20. Jesus Christ speaking there, he said, whatsoever thing you guys agree together here on earth will be established in heaven. But you are the one that dictates matters on how it should go. Why? Because you're a man of prayer. And let's go straight to the main teaching for today. What is prayer? What is prayer? Well, I've thought several times personally that prayer is simply the communication between man and God. Let me announce to you that there is a little bit or an inch, little further than just you talking to the Almighty God. Because anybody could talk to God. And our parents just say, God, oh, look at our life. Oh. Anybody could talk to God. But I discovered recently that prayer is an act of communion with divinity to yield both physical and spiritual results. That means if it does not yield results, then it's not prayer. Prayer is an act, not just you speaking to God, but an act of communion with divinity to yield both physical and physical results. Now I'm going to buttress this point with 1 Kings chapter 18 from verse 24 to 26. 1 Kings 18, 24 to 26. The Bible made us to understand that something was going on in the land of Israel. And the man of God named Elijah and the people, the prophet of Baal, they were together. They said, anyone who calls upon their God